Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're going to be diving into the world of algorithmic management
Okay.
and not just those gig economy jobs that you always hear about.
Mm-hmm.
We're going way beyond the usual headlines,
Yeah.
to explore how algorithms are reshaping the entire workplace.
Right.
You submitted a fascinating study for this deep dive
I did.
called Algorithms by and for the Workers.
Yes.
It was published just this past January
Mm-hmm.
by researchers at the Foundation for European Progressive Studies and their partners.
Yep.
We're really excited to unpack its insights with you today.
Great.
So imagine this, your work life, from when you take your breaks
Okay.
to potential promotions, orchestrated by lines of code.
Interesting.
That's algorithmic management, or AM,
Uh-huh.
and it's already impacting many workers globally.
Yeah.
Now, we're not here to demonize technology or anything.
Right.
This deep dive is about understanding its impact,
Sure.
both the good and the potentially not so good,
Mm-hmm.
and empowering you to navigate this new landscape.
I like that.
To help us decode this complex world of policy and research,
Yeah.
we have our expert who can synthesize even the densest reports into key insights.
Well, I try my best.
Welcome to the show.
Glad to be here.
So this study jumps right into how capitalism's drive for efficiency and profit just fuels the adoption of new technologies,
Right. Yeah.
especially in the workplace.
Yeah.
What I found really striking is how the study compares AM to historical management approaches like Taylorism.
Hmm.
It's like Taylorism on steroids, right?
It's a fascinating parallel.
Yeah.
Taylorism focused on breaking down work
Uh-huh.
into smaller, measurable tasks
Right.
to boost efficiency.
Yeah.
AM takes this to a whole new level, using algorithms to track, analyze, and optimize every aspect of work,
Wow.
often automating tasks previously done by humans.
So the study focuses heavily on the gig economy,
Yep.
highlighting companies like Uber, Deliveroo, and Upwork.
Mhm.
What makes these platforms so reliant on AM?
Well, these platforms manage vast,
Right.
decentralized workforces,
Yeah. Yeah.
making traditional management methods impractical.
I see.
Algorithms step in to handle everything from task allocation and worker monitoring to performance evaluation and even payment processing.
Wow. So they're really involved.
Yeah, it's all about achieving maximum efficiency and scalability.
So while AM might sound like a futuristic concept,
Mm,
it's deeply rooted in familiar economic forces.
exactly.
Yeah.
The relentless pursuit of profit drives businesses to embrace technologies that promise to cut costs and boost productivity.
Mm-hmm.
AM fits perfectly into that equation.
But as the study points out, this efficiency comes at a cost.
Right.
What are some of the ethical concerns the study raises about AM?
One major concern is the potential for bias in algorithms.
Okay.
These systems are created by humans,
Mm-hmm.
and human biases, conscious or unconscious,
Right.
can easily creep into the code.
The study highlights this really chilling example
Yeah.
with Amazon's automated termination notices for warehouse workers who didn't meet algorithmically set targets.
Right. That case underscores how AM can erode workers' rights and dignity.
Yeah, it's scary.
Workers become subject to a system they may not fully understand,
Right.
with little control over how their performance is judged or
Yeah.
the consequences of those judgments.
It creates this unnerving sense of workers being trapped in a digital cage,
Yeah.
judged by a system they can't question or appeal to.
And that's compounded by the lack of transparency
Yeah.
surrounding these systems.
Yeah.
Workers often don't know how the algorithms work,
Ah,
what data is being collected,
right.
or how decisions impacting their livelihoods are made.
Yeah.
This information asymmetry tilts the power balance heavily towards employers.
So it's not just about potential job losses due to automation.
Right.
It's about a fundamental shift in the power dynamics of the workplace.
Precisely.
Yeah.
It raises questions about fairness, accountability,
Mm-hmm.
and even basic human dignity in the context of work.
Okay, so we have these potentially biased algorithms operating in a black box, eroding worker autonomy.
Yeah.
Surely existing laws and regulations offer some protection, right?
That's where it gets tricky.
Okay.
Current policies and institutions are struggling to keep up with the rapid pace of technological change,
Right.
while regulations like the GDPR in the EU protect personal data.
Uh-huh.
They don't fully address the unique challenges posed by AM.
The study mentions this concept of function creep,
Yes.
where technologies intended for one purpose are repurposed for others,
Right.
often without workers' consent.
A classic example is employee monitoring systems.
Okay.
Initially introduced for security or productivity tracking,
Mm-hmm.
the data collected can be used for other purposes, like evaluating workers during layoffs,
Oh, wow.
or even monitoring their online activity outside work hours.
It's like a bait and switch with technology, where
Exactly.
the initial purpose morphs into something far more intrusive.
And this often happens without clear guidelines or safeguards,
Yeah.
leaving workers vulnerable to exploitation.
So we're playing catch up, trying to regulate technology after it's already out there impacting people's lives.
hmm
It feels like we need to be more proactive.
Absolutely. The study emphasizes the need for stronger, more forward-thinking policies, specifically addressing AM challenges.
Okay.
It also highlights the risk of regulatory capture,
Uh-huh.
where powerful tech companies influence policies in their favor,
Right.
often at the expense of workers.
It's a classic David versus Goliath scenario.
Indeed, and it's not just about regulations.
Yeah.
We need to think about how to empower workers to have a genuine say in shaping the future of work.
And this brings us to the fascinating case of the Nordic model.
Yes.
Even this model, lauded for its robust worker protections and emphasis on co-determination,
Mm-hmm.
is feeling the pressure of AM. Can you
Mm-hmm.
tell us more about that?
The Nordic model is known for its strong unions, collective bargaining, and a focus on collaborative decision-making between employers and employees.
Okay.
However, AM, with its tendency towards automation and top-down control,
Yeah.
disrupts these traditional power dynamics.
The study provides some concrete examples from Sweden's commerce sector.
Yes, the study found that extensive employee monitoring systems are being implemented
Okay.
in retail stores and warehouses,
Mm-hmm.
tracking everything from worker movements and break times to individual sales performance.
Ah,
Even with data collection regulations and consent requirements,
yeah.
workers often feel powerless and lack control over how these systems are used.
That must create a climate of anxiety and distrust in the workplace,
It does.
eroding the very core of the Nordic model built on trust and collaboration.
Precisely. And this trend isn't limited to Sweden.
Oh, really?
The study also highlights research from Norway, where AM-powered investigations into workplace misconduct are raising concerns.
That sounds like a double-edged sword.
It is.
Yeah.
While these systems could be used to protect workers from harm or address genuine misconduct,
Right.
they can also be used to silence dissenting voices or target whistleblowers, potentially escalating conflicts rather than resolving them.
And because these AM-powered investigations often focus on individual cases rather than systemic issues,
Yeah.
they may discourage workers from raising legitimate concerns through traditional co-determination channel.
That's a key concern.
Yeah.
AM, if left unchecked, could undermine the very structures designed to protect workers' rights and give them a voice in shaping their workplaces.
So it seems like even the Nordic model, a beacon of worker empowerment,
Yeah.
is grappling with the challenges posed by AM. Is there any hope for workers in this new world of algorithmic management? Where do we go from here?
Well, the study suggests a potential solution,
Okay.
and that's where co-determination comes in.
Here's where things get really interesting. We'll dive deeper into co-determination and its potential to reshape the future of work in part 2 of our deep dive. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the deep dive. Before the break, we were talking about how algorithmic management, or AM, is impacting workplaces,
Right.
even challenging those robust worker protections in the Nordic model. Our expert highlighted how AM can create a system where workers feel like they're constantly under surveillance,
Yeah.
judged by algorithms they don't understand,
Uh-huh.
and with limited recourse for unfair treatment.
It's a problem.
So where do we go from here? The study points to co-determination as a potential solution.
Yeah.
But what does that actually look like in practice?
Co-determination is about giving workers a real say
Okay.
in how technology is used in their workplaces.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just about being consulted.
Uh-huh.
It's about having a seat at the table,
Okay.
actively shaping decisions about the design, implementation, and governance of these systems.
So instead of workers being passive recipients of technology dictated from above,
Right.
they become active participants in shaping their digital work environment.
Exactly. It's about shifting the balance of power,
Okay.
ensuring that technology serves the needs of workers
Yeah.
rather than just the interests of employers or tech companies.
The study draws a clear connection between this lack of transparency
Yes.
and worker vulnerability.
Mhm.
Could you elaborate on that?
When workers don't understand how an algorithm works,
Okay.
what data it's using,
Right.
or how it's making decisions, they can't effectively challenge unfair outcomes
Yeah,
or advocate for their rights.
I see.
It's like being judged by a system shrouded in secrecy.
Huh. You've mentioned data trusts as a potential solution for giving workers more control over their data.
Right.
How would that work in practice?
Data trusts are legal structures
Okay.
that allow workers to collectively manage and control their data.
Mm.
Instead of individual workers being at the mercy of large corporations,
Right.
they can pool their data and use it as a bargaining chip to negotiate better wages, working conditions, or even influence the design of algorithms that affect their lives.
So rather than data being something that's extracted from workers and used against them,
Exactly.
it becomes a source of collective power.
Precisely. It flips the script on data ownership,
Okay.
turning it into a tool for worker empowerment. And we're already seeing data trusts being explored in various sectors, from healthcare to education to transportation.
That's incredibly encouraging.
Yeah,
It seems like the key to unlocking co-determination lies in empowering workers with knowledge and a collective voice.
absolutely. The more workers understand about how AM is being used in their workplaces,
Mm-hmm.
the better equipped they'll be to advocate for their rights and shape a future of work that benefits everyone.
So what are some practical steps workers can take to start advocating for co-determination in their workplaces?
The first step is awareness.
Okay.
Workers need to understand how AM is being used in their specific work contexts.
Right.
What data is being collected?
Mm-hmm.
How are algorithms being used to make decisions that impact them?
And how can workers gain this awareness?
Yeah,
It feels like a daunting task to unravel these often complex systems.
it can be, but there are resources available.
Oh, yeah.
Workers can start by talking to their colleagues,
Mm-hmm.
researching their company's policies, or connecting with worker advocacy groups that specialize in digital rights and algorithmic justice.
The study emphasizes the importance of unions in this context.
They do.
Yeah.
Unions have a crucial role to play in advocating for workers' rights in the digital age.
Mm-hmm.
They can help workers understand their rights,
Oh, okay.
negotiate collective agreements that address AM concerns,
Right.
and hold employers accountable for implementing fair and ethical practices.
So if you're not already a union member,
Yeah.
this might be the perfect time to explore that option.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And even if you're not in a unionized workplace,
Yeah.
there are still things you can do.
Okay.
You can raise concerns with your manager,
Mm.
connect with worker advocacy groups,
Right.
participate in online discussions about AM,
Uh-huh.
or even contact your elected officials to advocate for stronger regulations.
It's about recognizing that workers have a right to a voice in shaping the future of work,
Yeah,
even or perhaps especially in this rapidly changing digital landscape.
precisely. And the more workers speak up and demand a say in how technology is used in their workplaces,
Mm.
the more likely we are to create a future where technology empowers us rather than diminishes our agency.
This has been incredibly insightful.
Oh, good.
It feels like we've moved from a sense of doom and gloom about the potential negative impacts of AM
Right.
to a more hopeful outlook,
Mm-hmm.
recognizing the possibilities for worker empowerment.
Yeah, I think that's important.
But let's get even more concrete.
Okay.
In the final part of our deep dive, we'll explore some inspiring examples of co-determination in action
Great.
and envision a future where technology truly serves the needs of workers.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the deep dive.
Okay.
In the previous parts, we explored some of the challenges of algorithmic management
Right.
and how it's impacting workers, even in those countries known for strong worker protections.
Yeah.
But this isn't just a story about doom and gloom.
Right.
We've been discussing co-determination as a path forward,
Mm-hmm.
giving workers a real voice.
Yes. In shaping how technology is used in their workplaces.
Absolutely.
In this final part, we're going to move from theory to practice
Okay.
and explore some real-world examples
Uh-huh.
of co-determination in action.
Great.
I'm really eager to delve into some of these inspiring cases highlighted in the study.
Yeah, there are some fascinating ones in there.
So the study presents some fascinating examples
Uh-huh.
that really demonstrate the power of workers coming together to shape technology in a way that benefits them.
Absolutely.
One that really caught my eye was the rise of worker-owned platform cooperatives.
Yeah.
Can you tell us more about those?
Sure. Platform cooperatives are essentially digital platforms
Okay.
that are owned and governed by the workers themselves.
Interesting.
They operate in various sectors, from ride-hailing to freelance marketplaces.
So instead of having a traditional corporate structure
Yeah.
where profits flow to shareholders,
Uh-huh.
these cooperatives prioritize the well-being
Yes,
and economic security of their worker owners.
exactly.
Yeah.
And because the workers have a direct stake in the platform's success,
Right.
they're more likely to be invested in ensuring that the algorithms are designed and implemented fairly and ethically.
It's a powerful example of how shifting the ownership structure can fundamentally change the relationship between workers and technology.
Precisely. These cooperatives demonstrate that it's possible to create a more democratic and equitable digital economy where workers have a real voice.
Beyond cooperatives, the study also mentions data trusts.
Yes.
Can you remind us how those work
Yeah.
and how they can empower workers?
Data trusts are legal structures that allow workers to pool their data
Okay.
and manage it collectively
Hmm.
instead of individual workers being at the mercy of large corporations.
Right.
They can use this collective data ownership to negotiate better wages, working conditions, or even influence the design of algorithms that directly impact their lives.
So it's about turning data from a potential source of exploitation into a tool for collective bargaining and empowerment.
Exactly. It's about reclaiming control over what is rightfully theirs, their data, and using it to level the playing field in the digital economy.
These examples paint a really hopeful picture of a future where technology is designed to serve the needs of workers rather than the other way around.
Yeah, it is hopeful.
But these are still relatively nascent initiatives.
They are.
What would it take to make algorithms by and for the workers a more widespread reality?
Scaling these solutions requires a multi-pronged approach.
Okay.
We need stronger labor laws that give workers more leverage in the digital economy,
Hmm.
more robust data protection regulations,
Right.
and greater support for worker-led initiatives like platform cooperatives and data trusts.
And perhaps a cultural shift as well.
I think so.
Moving away from the idea that technology is something that happens to workers
Right.
and toward a mindset where workers are active participants in shaping technology.
Absolutely. It's about fostering a culture of digital literacy and empowerment among workers so they can understand these systems, advocate for their rights, and co-create a future of work that benefits everyone.
So for our listeners who are feeling inspired
Yeah.
and want to be part of this movement toward a more worker-centric technological future,
Uh-huh.
what are some concrete actions they can take?
First and foremost, stay informed.
Okay.
Learn about how AM is being used in your industry and workplace.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to your colleagues.
Yeah.
Join a union.
Uh-huh.
Connect with worker advocacy groups.
Okay.
Or participate in online forums to share your experiences and learn from others.
It's about recognizing that you're not alone in this.
You're not.
There's a growing movement of people who believe that technology should serve humanity, not the other way around.
I agree.
And by coming together, sharing knowledge, and raising our voices, we can create a future where algorithms are truly by and for the workers.
That's the goal.
This has been a truly eye-opening deep dive.
Yeah.
It's clear that algorithmic management presents both challenges and opportunities.
Absolutely.
But by understanding these complex issues and embracing the principles of co-determination, we can shape a future of work that is fair, equitable, and ultimately empowering for all. Thanks for joining us on the deep dive. We hope this episode has sparked your curiosity and given you some concrete ideas for taking action. Until next time, stay curious.